Why is the modern dating scene such a disaster? Even though dating apps have given singles more options than ever before, and even though nearly half of adults in the US are single and looking, frustration is at an all-time high. Now, because this is 2025, many single people are sharing their frustrations in places like TikTok. And today, we're gonna watch 6 videos, 3 women and 3 men, who share what's going wrong in modern dating. And I'll weigh in, not as a dating expert, but as a pastor who's officiated over 300 weddings and counseled hundreds more singles over the years. At the end of this video, I'll share my top 3 do's and don'ts from my point of view when you're looking for love that lasts. So let's get started.
What the does that mean? Whew. I don't get why I'm still single. I don't get it. I'm a catch. What is going on in my life where I don't have a man? Or are my standards too high? Do I box myself in a corner all the time? Like nowadays, men today want to be chased. What happened to masculinity? What happened to chivalry? What happened to men courting women? What happened to that? Back in the day, dating was so much easier and it was fun. Today's dating is hell. You give a guy your number and all of a sudden you don't hear from them until like 3 to 4 days later. What was the point of me giving you my number? If you're not going to text me, I don't get it. The talking doesn't go as far as the actual app. There are no, oh, let me take you out to dinner. Let's go catch a movie. Let's go to a cafe and get to know each other. What's with all the endless text messages? What happened to men actually planning dates? What happened to it? I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, she's coming in hot here, a little language and all that. She's fired up, but I actually agree with a lot of what she's said so far. Guys, you're not going to like this, and I don't mean to come down unfairly on you, but I've long said that the biggest problem with modern dating is that we've raised a generation of men who, by and large, are overgrown boys who want to have fun and want to play games, maybe want to get laid, have a hookup. And this obviously is not the case for all men. There's a bunch of good guys out there, but the fact is, many of the good guys are getting hitched, or at least claimed, let's say, by the time they're 25. So for women in their late 20s, and especially in their 30s and 40s, their prospects start to dwindle pretty quickly. And I understand that there are some guys right now probably saying, but most of the women out there aren't exactly Mother Teresa. They want to have fun too. They want to hook up too. And that's also true. And it's sad, I think. But I think that's basically, it boils down to an issue of supply and demand. Men applied the demand for those shallow hookups, by and large. And many women are willing to offer the supply. Not all women, many women are willing to offer that supply. Usually they do that in an attempt to keep men interested. What we need, I think, are more men of principle, young men with a vision for their future, men who are self-controlled enough to say no to instant gratification in favor of a long-term commitment, a long-term relationship that hopefully leads to marriage. Let's watch the rest of her video.
Oh, you're just very intimidating. What the does that mean? How do I come off intimidating when I'm the most socializing person ever? Specifically, my ladies, I want to hear how you are dating, especially in today's generation. What are some dating apps you're on? Where do you go to date? What are just some of your non-negotiables when it comes to dating these men? Because I ain't got time. Anyway, this is the makeup look. I wanted something really cute and rosy.
She looks lovely. Her initial question there about how does she come across as intimidating? Look, I don't want to be the one to say this. I don't think it's a reach to say she is slightly intimidating, but it's not for reasons she might think. It's not because of how she looks or whatever. It's more about how she talks. I mean, her language is rough. And this might not be the case for all guys, but I think generally for the right kind of guy, the guy she says she's looking for, the guy who plans dates and has some sort of vision for himself in the future, I'm guessing that for that guy, her language, her choice of words, even her tone would be off-putting. More often than not, when a man really is looking for the one out there on the dating scene, he's looking for someone who will add stability and peace and meaning to his life. And I don't know her character. I'm just saying her way of speaking and the way she comes across on TikTok doesn't give me the impression that she is the kind of stable, peaceful person that such a guy would want to be with. I could be wrong, and y'all feel free to let me know in the comments if you think I'm being too harsh or judgmental. Okay, now let's shift gears a little bit and hear the other side of this conversation. Let's hear from a man's perspective.
I've got terrible news for everybody. I don't know if y'all have heard or not. I actually just found this out. I was on Hinge, and I was thinking, you know what? All the people that are my age don't seem to want a relationship right now. They just want to do and mess around and not fall in love with nobody. And if they do, they want to break your heart after 8 months. Whatever. That's a whole different story. So what I was thinking, I was like, maybe I should just change the age preference, right? So I'm like, okay, let's bump this up a notch to 30 years old and up. Right, okay, I'm 23, maybe that's a stretch, I don't know. But let me tell you what happens. I change it to 30 and up, I go through a couple of things, I'm like, wait, what's going on here? The pickings are a little slim, so I'm like, all right, I won't give up on it yet. I spend an hour or so, like, swiping through it or whatever, you know how you do, and found absolutely nothing. Not that, whatever, just whatever. You get what I'm saying. It's like, the pickings got slim.
Okay, I'll interrupt real quick. I've never been on a dating app. I've been married for 26 years now, so we predated the dating apps, thank God. So I've never been on Hinge, but as he said that part, I wondered if it's possible that his pickings got so slim because of the women's settings, right? Women in their 30s also set their settings in a way that weeds out younger guys more often than not. If a woman on Hinge says she's only interested in a man that's around her age or older, she's not going to see him and he's not going to see her on the app, right? I think that's how that works. That would seem to make sense to me. Now, let's hear the rest of the story. I've got a feeling there might be a heartbreak coming.
My point in saying this is I think that when we get 30 years old, if we are not already booed up, we probably are not ever going to find true love. And if we do, we're dating Fiona or we're dating Shrek. It's whatever it is, right? For the girls, I'm sure the pickings are slim on the guy's side. This isn't supposed to be a sexist thing, so don't you do that. It's just, I think if we don't fall in love now, then all the good ones are going to be scooped up and ran off with when we're 30, and I don't know what to do with myself right now. My hands are like, I don't know how I ended up here, right? It's like you fall in love with somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, this is great, and then they just break your heart, like randomly, right? I'm dating this girl 8 months, oh my gosh, and then she literally poof, gone, gone. And then, okay, sick, how do you avoid that? Well, okay, maybe you should just date somebody that's a little bit older that knows, hey, whenever you lose something good, you can't get it back, so now they're ready to settle down. Everybody's ready to settle down is getting booed the hell up right now. I'm wondering where y'all are finding them.
Oh, poor guy. All right, so getting booed up, I guess, means snatched up, finding the one and locking it down long term, right? Little Gen Z lingo there. This poor guy, I feel bad for him. He's so young to already be losing hope in the dating scene. He's 23. I would say two things to what we just watched and heard. First of all, he's not wrong when he says that as people get older, it does get harder to find a good match. That's not his opinion or my opinion. That's just math, right? That's how the numbers shake out. The longer you stay single, the fewer options you're going to have. And here's where it's hard for women. Typically, this is especially true for you ladies, because a single man in his 30s tends to have more options available to him than a single woman of the same age. Because typically, younger women are more interested in willing to date an older man than a younger man is willing to date an older woman. This guy notwithstanding and his desperate decision to search for 30-something women on Hinge. It's usually how it shakes out. It probably has something to do with biology, right? It's not men being pigs. It's about biology and childbearing years and all of that. Whatever the case, that's the way it is. But what really stood out to me about this guy is how he's 23 and already sick of dating. It sounds like it has something to do with that heartbreak he experienced with this woman that he loved, dated for 8 months. By the way he told the story, it sounds like it was one of those cases of ghosting. Ghosting is one of the most evil, sinister things that has happened to dating over the last 20 years. People didn't used to ghost each other the way people are ghosting now. And breaking up is hard enough, but to have someone you've given your heart to and been vulnerable with just disappear, fall off the face of the earth with no explanation, that is more than heartbreaking. It's dehumanizing. And it makes dating and falling in love and learning to trust another person again harder for everyone. So listen, single people, let's talk. Please don't ghost. Please don't ghost another person. If you're not interested in them, just have the guts to tell them you're not interested and maybe even tell them why. It's hard, but it's really not that hard, okay? Stop ghosting. Everybody be better for it, okay? Next video.
If you are bare minimum mid, like it doesn't matter how tall you are, your muscle, your money, This is the 100% most effective way to approach one. I have taken notes from men aged range 22 to 37, like decades of hoeing around.
Ooh.
And now men on the internet are confirming that this has worked for them. Chances are you are focusing on the completely wrong thing when you're thinking about approaching. The number one goal of how you start the conversation is to simply start the conversation. One way to do this is with a respectful compliment, especially if it's on something that she consciously chose. This can be her hair, this can be her shirt, this can be the book that she's reading. All you got to do is start the conversation.
Hey, look, she seems to be some kind of coach, dating romance coach or something, and that usually makes me trust a person even less, because my experience and watching, observing is that these people tend to give really bad advice. But on this point, she's absolutely right. Guys, listen, when she tells guys all it takes is a little bit of assertiveness, a little bit of focus, that's true. In fact, I would say assertiveness and intention are the most important qualities that a man can have while dating. More important, as she said, than height or wealth. Those things help, obviously. But look, when it comes to conversations, the bar is so low now, guys. When I was young, I had to compete with guys who knew how to talk to women, and it was a different time. So few people now, people under 35 especially, so few really know how to hold a decent conversation anymore, because everybody's been raised on devices. We've been digitized, right? And if a guy in the dating scene now can simply learn to notice little things about a girl and ask her questions, sincere questions about who she is, and listen to what she says, and be complimentary, be curious about who she is, man, that's enough to make a guy who is a 5 into a 7 or a 7 into a 9 in the eyes of most single women.
Make sure you're approaching her within eyesight so she doesn't get literally scared by you coming up behind her being like, I think you're so beautiful. And then just be normal. Try to speak relatively slowly, relatively quiet, politely, openly invite her out for coffee if she's free. Otherwise, move on. Follow for more.
Okay. I like the practical advice, guys. She says, just be normal, right? It's easier said than done for some of us. But what she's saying is, don't go overboard with shallow compliments. Don't be, creepy. Just look her in the eyes and have a genuine conversation. It's not that hard. You'll be surprised how much that alone will set you apart from most of the guys most women are used to interacting with. Now let's shift again and hear from a man's perspective.
Fellas, I'm going to tell you the 3 things that tend to f*** up a good vibe on a first date. These are 3 no-nos. Just don't do them. Number 1, don't get too handsy on the first date. Don't be touching her like all that. You're over-inserting yourself. You're doing too much. This is not for you to insert your deep urges. She needs to be curious about how you feel about her. Don't just start going all in. Sit, boy, sit down. Yeah, that's you. Relax. Take a chill effing pill. Number 2, don't over communicate. Don't just keep talking to fill up the empty space. Even if you get a little nervous, don't do all that. Ask her good questions. Inquire about her. Don't try and insert your value through talking about what you do and what you did all this. You need to let her be also curious about all that. Let her be curious about you. When you over insert yourself too much, you call DTM, doing too much. Stop doing too much. Just take a second, breathe. Let her inquire as well, but you ask good questions. Stop just boom, 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 boom. Who cares about the empty space? Let the empty space sit for a second.
Yes.
And number 3, when you walk into the place, know what you're going to get to drink. Just know. Don't be so indecisive. Don't be like, well, what this pina colada? What part of what? Don't do all that. You're doing too much. Just go in with the drink you have in mind and say, all right, yeah, I already know what I want. I know what I want. Yep, I'm going to get that. Okay, great. And then you can look at the menu for food, fantastic. But when it comes to the drink and all that, man, already walk in with what you're about to get. You're doing too much. Don't do all that. Be a little bit more decisive.
Yeah. All right. Look, it's hard to argue with his logic. It might sound like a little bit like he's contradicting what the woman said before about being assertive, but he's not really contradicting her. He's just saying guys should approach a woman with some confidence, but without DTM, doing too much. And that means asking her about herself, listening to her responses without shifting the spotlight back to you and filling up every empty space with talk about yourself, just keep the spotlight on her until she asks you something about you. And I love what he said about being comfortable with silence. I love that because it's a lost art. I've noticed, again, not to hound younger people, but I've noticed that younger adults especially want to fill up every single moment with something. And I think it's because you've all been conditioned by YouTube and influencers that are speeding up their videos, always talking, never silent. But letting the silence sit for a moment speaks volumes. It's like letting a conversation breathe, inhaling and exhaling. Seriously, you should try it sometime. It speaks confidence too, and that's just really solid, practical advice. I appreciate what this guy had to say, most of it. Let's see what's next.
I don't think there's any reason too small to cut off a romantic interest, man or woman. Last year I was seeing someone that I really liked, and I cut him off because he didn't wish me a safe flight. I believe that especially in the early stages of dating, if you get any kind of inkling that your needs are not being met, it's fine to move on. In fact, it should be welcomed. I was seeing this guy for about a month. We were seeing each other steadily for maybe once, twice a week, about 4, 5, 6 weeks, and texting, calling every day. It was going fairly slow and steady, and we had enough in common, and we had mutual interest, and it seemed like it was going at a good pace, especially for something serious. I admired him, respected him, and I believe it was likewise. A holiday was coming up where we were both going to be out of town that weekend. I was flying out of state to visit family. He was driving out of town to visit his. So we have lunch on a Thursday. We're talking about our upcoming weekend plans, and he's telling me all the things he's going to be doing with his family, and I'm telling him everything that I'm doing with mine. So we're texting after lunch and a little bit on Friday, and I let him know, hey, since you're driving up there today, have a safe drive. Let me know when you get there. And I didn't hear from him all weekend.
Okay. And? No. This is silly. She broke it off with this guy who she'd been dating for 6 weeks because he didn't wish her a safe flight, and she ended it. She'd been in a relationship with him, dating him twice a week for 6 weeks. That's wild to me. She said that she admired and respected this guy, but clearly she didn't admire and respect him enough to tell him that it would have meant a lot to her if he had said something like, have a safe flight. Like, if you really respect somebody, you say that to them. You don't just break it off. And I think, this points to a much bigger problem on today's dating scene that I see a lot with single people. It's a reason why many people are striking out in finding love. They're looking out there for the finished product when they should be looking for potential, right? You're looking for a diamond in the rough. This is true for women and men. The best candidates for marriage are not the ones who already have everything you're looking for, finished product. Those people do not exist. Soulmates, finished products do not exist. The best people to look for are the ones who care enough about you to be coachable, to adapt to your needs as you present them, as you show them, to say, okay, I'll pivot and change. I mean, what if she had gone to him and said, look, it hurt my feelings when you didn't reciprocate, when you didn't wish me a safe flight after I wished you safe travels or whatever. It would have meant so much to me if you had been more conscientious, and it would mean so much if you could be more conscientious in the future. And then what if he saw that as a chance for him to grow as a man, to grow as a person, to give this woman that he cares about what she needs? That could have been such a beautiful moment in the story arc of this relationship, but I guess she'll never know because she ended it.
In this month of talking to him as well, somehow I was in 2 car accidents back to back within a week of each other. Oof. And no one was hurt. I wasn't even hurt, no bumps or bruises. It was just 2 kind of traumatic car accidents. And his reaction to those accidents were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Which, we're still new. We were only a couple of weeks in then. We were only about a month in at my trip. It's an awkward time. The holidays were coming up soon. And it's just kind of an awkward time to be dating someone new anyway. But generally, I care so deeply about others that I am wanting to help them if I see any kind of potential, or if I view them as a good person, or just generally I like to treat people with kindness. And I let him know that, to be frank, I just really like someone who is very clear on their communication. If he didn't want to communicate all weekend because he was with his family, or he was giving me space because I was with mine, I had hoped that was communicated prior to the trips. But also I did take great issue with him not wishing me a safe flight. Not even after my flight. I didn't hear from him all weekend. And if he was with another person, I wouldn't have minded. We were so early on, it would have been fine if that was the case, if he was honest. And just honesty and being upfront makes a huge difference. He told me he thought I was rushing into a decision, and that he wished I had given him the opportunity to talk it through. But quite frankly, especially in early dating stages, I just don't have time to waste. I'm also a really good read of judgment and character, and I could just tell them.
Let me stop her there. So she's propping herself up a lot. She's giving herself props for being such a generous person. She says she's the kind of person that sees potential in people and wants to help them be better. But she wasn't willing to work with this guy who, look, they had dated for 6 weeks. She said she admired him, respected him, She could have helped him become a better person. That's what relationships are for, in large part. And the potential was there. When she got in those 2 car accidents, he said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," or something like that. Which, look, he could have said, "What'd you do? Are you a bad driver? It was probably your fault." Like, he could have been dismissive, but he gave a genuine and caring response. I don't understand this young woman, and I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. I think she's blind to her own contradictions. I think she's blind to her a little bit of self-delusion. She thinks she's all that when she doesn't really seem to be all that. I think she has some growing to do as well, based on this video anyway. I think personally she should lose the nose ring. Every man who's marriage material that I know would not consider a girl with a nose ring marriage material. But nevertheless, I think she might have missed an opportunity. I think she missed a chance at something beautiful by letting this guy go for the reason that she did. Now, let's watch one more video from the man's point of view.
Dating in 2025 literally makes no sense. I'm sure a lot of you are in the same boat that I'm in right now, so let's dive. As a man, you can be a good-looking guy, have a lot of money, have a good job, is very compassionate, very loving, and very loyal. And your lady will still leave you for a man that's 6'5" named Requise that has face tattoos and that smokes.
Okay. First of all, I do feel bad for this guy. He's clearly had his heart broken by a girl who left him for a meth-smoking giant named Requise. Putting that aside for just a moment. If I'm this guy's friend, I'm telling him the truth. He needs to lose the beanie. Just like I told the other girl about the nose ring, he needs to lose his nose ring. He needs to start acting and presenting like a man. He presents like an overgrown boy. And y'all tell me if I'm wrong or judgmental in the comments, but that's what I see. Let's dive back in.
Keep in mind, there's not a lot. Most of everybody are pieces of garbage, and all they want is instant gratification. They don't want a long-term relationship, because once they get bored, you're
Oh.
So in this day and age, me specifically, how am I supposed to have a wife and kids and all this stuff? I mean, look at me. I'm a good-looking man. I got a lot to offer. I don't beg. I don't plead. I don't chase. I'm not crazy clingy. I'm a normal guy.
With a Dragon Ball Z shirt.
Well, look at me!
Make the shit make sense! I know a lot of people are in the same boat as me, men and women.
One lesson I had to learn. You can't make
Someone want you.
That's
Let
true.
me say it again. You can't make.
Someone want you.
And most people that are in my shoes, we just get discarded. We're great,
Awesome, compassionate, loving human beings, but we just get discarded because
people are just so confused.
It's hard to hear, right? The struggle is real, and this is not uncommon. I hear what he's saying. Now, I'm not sure he's as much of a catch as he seems to think he is, though. Ladies, tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I don't know how it's possible to take a grown man in a fake Supreme beanie and a Dragon Ball Z shirt seriously. Still, some of what he said is absolutely true. People are putting their hearts on the line, getting their hearts broken and stepped on, and their dignity shattered by all the ghosting and moving on. And whenever somebody gets bored, that's indicative of this problem where people have to perform in relationships and keep the other person entertained, keep them from getting bored. That's not how relationships are supposed to work, guys. And it leaves people feeling cynical. It leaves them feeling less than human. So, with all that in mind, as promised, I'd like to close out this video by offering the 3 things, the 3 best practices that I've seen for dating. Dating that leads somewhere, dating that leads to serious relationships and marriage. So these are the 3 things I've seen people do with success when they're looking for the one. Number 1, very simple, make your intentions clear. It's the lack of definition that's troubling a lot of people and keeping them from finding love, finding relationships that last. If you're dating to find the one, if that's your goal, only date to find the one. There should be no such thing as dating for fun or dating for attention or dating for hookups, whatever. Make it clear that you're dating in hopes of getting married. Make it clear from the jump. And nothing short of that will suffice for you. And that will help you weed out some of the people who just want attention, just want a good time or whatever. Also, we got to talk about talking, all right? So my kids tell me that no one's going steady anymore. No one asks someone to be in a relationship. Everybody's talking. There's a talking phase now that's pretty new to the dating experience. This idea that we're just talking. People are getting stuck in the talking phase. And that lack of definition is awful for relationships. So if you're dating, if you're single, define the relationship early on. If you're dating someone, let them know you're only dating them. You're a one person at a time person, and that you expect the person you're dating to only date you. As long as you're dating, it's only you and me. So you're exclusive or you're nothing. Be exclusive or move on. Number 2, if you're single, instead of just searching for your soulmate, the one who was made for you, the one who's perfect for you, use that time to work on yourself. Develop not just your body, develop your character. Get off TikTok, get off the internet, read a book, keep a journal, pray, meditate, go to church, exercise too, take care of your body too. But what I'm saying is, instead of just looking for the one, work on becoming the kind of person that the kind of person you're looking for is looking for. This is something we often miss. We just want that person to come our way and us to be happily ever after. Number 3, be decisive and be clear. When it's obvious that someone you're dating isn't the one, that's not going to work out, there's no real future with them, don't put it off. Grant them the dignity right then of telling them right away, telling them why, so that you both can move on and, have your head held high as much as possible. And on the other hand, when it does become clear that the person you're dating could be the one, don't be afraid to say so. Don't hesitate. Don't be slow to level up the relationship from just dating to serious relationship. Guys, I think we should get back into the habit of asking girls to be our girlfriend, like we used to. You don't have to say, will you go steady with me? That's a little bit 1960s, but you can ask them to be your girlfriend. And then when you know she's really the one, don't put off asking her to marry you. Everybody's scared of making that kind of commitment, but don't put it off. Marriage is wonderful. Except for following Jesus, marrying a good woman is the best thing a man can do in life. And the same is true for women. When you find the one, take the plunge, man. I'm confident you'll be glad you did. All right, that's all for today. This has been fun thinking and talking about dating and relationships. I'd love to hear your comments and your thoughts in the comments section, and I'll try to respond to each one as they come in. This is a really important topic, and a lot of hearts are on the line. So I hope this video has been helpful, and I'll see you next time.